Did you know almost all of the senior ministers in the last Tory government were privately educated, while almost everyone in this Labour government went to their local comprehensive? Thankfully, we now have people running this country who understand the needs of working people.
I think it's really important that people can relate. If you've never had to worry about how you're going to get to the end of the month and, your wage is always taken up by your everyday essentials and then your kid needs a new pair of shoes and that feeling, that fear. And when you understand that, when you have a concept of that level of fear and how precarious that puts you in your life, then you really get it, why it's important we do the Renters' Rights Act, why it's important we have the Employment Rights Act and why it's important we protect our public services.
Labour has been busy making life better for working people and their families.
The government's legislation granting people more rights in the workplace passed its final hurdle this evening.
In December 2025, the Employment Rights Act was finally passed, despite strong opposition from both the Tories and Reform. This groundbreaking new act gives everyone greater rights and protections at work, including a ban on fire and rehire, a ban on exploitative zero-hours contracts, greater rights to request flexible working, greater protections against unfair dismissal, day one rights to paternity leave for dads-to-be, and the right to sick pay from day one. Something Usdaw Rep Rahana Kosar is particularly grateful for.
I'm a kidney transplant patient and I'm prone to infection, so obviously I'm off work more often than I would be, and I'm glad now this is coming to place when I know from the first day my sickness won't be affected, so I'm really happy with that.
And Rahana is also delighted with the £3.8 billion Labour is investing into making it easier for people to access employment opportunities.
I've had a lot of people come to me to struggle to go back into work because of the health issues, bearing in mind I'm a kidney transplant patient and I know being in employment has been the best thing for me. For other people, Labour has opened the doors for employment.
Come on in, have a seat, I'm Dr. Graham.
Of course, one of the main reasons people weren't able to work was because of how long it was taking them to get treatment from the NHS under the Tories. As retired Usdaw member John Heaton can testify.
Trying to get an appointment used to be very difficult. I'd ring up and I could be waiting a month or more before I could get in to see a doctor. So it was really depressing.
But within a few short months of Labour coming to power, the NHS had increased its capacity with over 2 million more GP appointments available, and people are noticing the difference.
It's improving a lot with the investment that's going into it. I recently contacted my doctors for my illness and I got in within about 2 days, which is a massive improvement on previous years.
As well as radically transforming workers' rights and improving our NHS, Labour are also making sure those who rent their home have a much greater sense of security and protection.
I have mushrooms in there. There's mushrooms even down there still.
Under the Tories, we saw a huge rise in the number of slum landlords, with people forced to live in damp, unsafe conditions. Which is why, as well as banning no-fault evictions and putting restrictions on rent increases, Labour's new Renters' Rights Act means all landlords are now legally required to comply with strict new standards. While John is lucky to have a good landlord, he is in no doubt that Labour's Renters' Rights Act will make a huge difference.
There is some very dodgy landlords out there. Where I live, there's quite a lot of places that need improving. And I think with them being private landlords, they're not willing to do it unless they have to.
Thanks to Labour, millions more people will now feel more secure in their home and at work. And that's particularly true for those Usdaw members working in retail. In a direct response to our Freedom from Fear campaign, the Labour government has introduced a new law that will make it a specific offence to assault a shop worker. Once passed, the Crime and Policing Bill will also help to address the issues around shoplifting, something that's become a major problem for our members over the last few years. This new law will remove the immunity for thefts under £200, open the way for more prosecutions and give retail staff stronger legal protection. And it's only been made possible because we now finally have a government that listens.
As a union, as members, we're forever talking about all the issues that we face as shop workers and reps, but it's pretty much falling on deaf ears. Now at least we've got the ear of the government, and the very fact that they've brought this legislation in speaks volumes.
The fact that Labour listened to working people and trade unions should come as no surprise, because that's exactly what the Labour Party was set up to do. The link between unions and the Labour Party can be seen and felt most clearly through the Trade Union and Labour Party Liaison Organisation, commonly known as TULO.
TULO is the body that represents the affiliated trade unions to the Labour Party. Now, we spend a lot of time talking to workers. You know, we understand what matters to them, we understand what matters to their families, and we reflect that and represent that to government. So we have access very regularly to the Prime Minister and the politicians to be able to tell them this is what matters across the union movement, this is what we would like to see them deliver.
TULO meetings are a great way for our members to meet regularly with senior Labour MPs and to help influence government policy.
Somebody like me works in a supermarket, been there nearly 40 years. My voice is heard and we've changed things.
Labour has listened and taken steps to make life better for working families, with the introduction of free breakfast clubs, free school meals for those on low income, and 30 hours of free nursery education for all. Sue has seen the difference these changes have made to the people in her life.
They've got money in their pockets, and that's what we want for people, isn't it? Money in their pockets, rather than living on their bones. They've listened to what we've had to say, and they're doing something about it. It makes such a difference.
It's brilliant that we've got the opportunity.
It's great that working people are now listened to by the decision makers. But it's even more powerful when working people become the decision makers. People like Gary Samuels, a rep in Tesco who is also now deputy leader of his district council.
As a union rep, you hear the problems, you see the problems, you feel the problems, and then when you sort of step into the chamber, it brings that sort of realism back to the day-to-day issues facing working people.
And Gary would encourage anyone who wants to really make a difference for their members and for their communities to consider getting more actively involved in politics, or even standing for election.
It's all good and well sitting in the sidelines, sort of moaning about things and noticing unfairness, but you've got to be in those positions to be able to make change.
And Gary is in no doubt that if we really want to make change happen and build a better future for our communities and our country, we need to continue to make sure our voice is heard.
As working people, if we don't use our voice, there's going to be a gap.
Everybody should be involved in politics. Everybody's life is political. Some way along the line, you are concerned about your gas and electric, you're concerned about your childcare. People don't realise that everyday things are political and we need to change them through the political movement.
We've seen what a difference that we as trade unionists campaigning and working together with the Labour Party can make to the lives of our members. A new law to protect retail workers, powerful new rights and protections at work, and increased security for those renting their homes. An end to the 2-child benefit cap, free nursery places for up to 30 hours a week, free breakfast clubs and free school meals for those on low incomes. To name just a few of the many ways this Labour government has helped to improve the lives of working people and their families. But there is still so much more to do. And if we're going to help Labour deliver, they need to hear what you have got to say.
It's having working class people's voices being heard of what they want to make their lives better.